Colleen, could you tell me a little bit about what your symptoms were like when we first met?
I was really dizzy. I sometimes slept on the settee. I was that dizzy. I couldn't get up to bed. Um, I couldn't do anything. I hadn't left the house for at least a year. I was frightened all the time. My husband had to virtually look after us. I couldn't walk anywhere. Um, I thought my life had ended. To be honest, I was in total despair until I found you on the internet.
And do you know what the cause of that symptoms were? Do you know what triggered it in the first place?
Yeah. I woke up one morning. I was really dizzy. Um, um, and I had vestibular neuritis. I was hospitalized with it 4 times because it kept coming back. At one point in the hospital, I just couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't even stand up at all. Eventually that sort of died off, and I was sent home I had various tablets. I went through everything. My doctor couldn't believe I still wasn't over it. This was months later. So he sent me for an appointment with the ENT. After about 4 months and only 2 appointments, I was given a sheet with Cawthorn Cooksey exercises.
Yeah.
Did nothing at all. Did nothing for me. I was just in total despair. And I was told by the ENT, that's it, you've got it for life. So, of course, that made me more depressed. And I just thought, this is it.
Awful.
Yeah.
And did the dizziness change over time? So initially, was it more a sense of spinning, and then did it change over time, or was it always a sense of
It was
spinning?
always spinning. I was fine sitting down. I was fine lying down. But as soon as I moved, as soon as I stood up and tried to walk, but I was told I had severe PPD, CPPD,
Yeah.
and I didn't think it was ever going to go away.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's quite common that you have this kind of more severe sense of vertigo first, like a vestibular neuritis or labyrinthitis or vestibular migraine, things like that. And then it develops into triple PD later, which gives you that just horrible sense of constant unsteadiness, particularly when you're upright or moving. So you had stopped, were you still working through this, Colleen, or did you have
Yeah,
to
I
stop?
work from home, and obviously I sit down because I do admin. So I worked all the way through it, but the dizziness was terrible. It was awful. And sickness, I had really bad sickness. But there was nothing else I could do. I just had to battle through it.
Wow, amazing you've carried on working throughout this. Did you carry on driving? Were you going out socializing, seeing friends?
No, I didn't go out at all. Not at all. I didn't want to see anybody. And I stopped driving. I didn't drive. I couldn't even walk, so I wasn't going to drive.
And when you were trying the Cooksey Hawthorne exercises, they didn't do much for you.
Nothing.
Do you know why? Was there a reason that you find the exercises were too hard or too easy, or just
I don't
didn't
know
think it
whether they
on?
were too easy or not. It was stand up, sit down in a chair and touch the floor. Threw a tennis ball up and down. They didn't do anything for us at all.
And that's really common. So we see, particularly with when you have vestibular neuritis, we can get damage to one side of the ear. So we call it vestibular hypofunction. And what you had was called uncompensated vestibular hyperfunction. So it continues for your brain, hopefully should repair that nerve as much as it can and then get on with life. And instead it ends up with this imbalance, and then you develop triple PD. And this is why vestibular rehab needs to be tailored to you. So you can do these sheets of exercises and be told to spend a few hours doing them a day,
Every
and yet
day.
doesn't do anything because it's not specific to your needs. So you went through the 12-week course of vestibular rehab with me. How did you find it?
Excellent. To be fair, from the second week, it started to work. I my husband's been able to stop doing all the household chores now. I could tell straight away it was working. And I don't say anything that's not true. And I feel as if, do you know, I'm 95% cured now. I go out for walks all the time on my own. I'm going to drive again. I've sat in the car and I've driven a little bit. I do everything. My husband and my son say I'm nearly back to normal now. I just never thought I'd get here. I didn't.
Yeah, it's been great seeing the progress. And I think it's fair to say it wasn't a perfect linear line, was it? We kind of saw some speed bumps along that road.
Some ups and downs. I had, at the beginning, I had more down days and up days, but those up days sort of made it for us, because at first, when I come back from hospital, and it was just all down. And then towards the end, it was just more up days, and now I very rarely have a down day.
Yeah, perfect. Exactly right. So we tend to say that the first 4 weeks of that rough phase where it can be a little bit turbulent. And then around week 5, week 6, you'll start to see the good days come in, and they start lasting for a little bit longer and longer. So initially you'll grab onto one good day and be delighted with that. And then the next day is not so good. And then you get 2 or 3 good days, and that's great. And I always think a key part to it is trying not celebrate the wins and don't mourn the losses too early.
Yeah. You don't want to celebrate. I was frightened to celebrate in case it come back with but it didn't. It hasn't. And I've never had to sleep on the settee again. I've not been scared to go up to bed in case, because there was at one point I was frightened to go upstairs in case I couldn't get down the stairs because I was so dizzy. And I'm just back to normal.
Yeah, it's awful. I've spoken to people regularly who have literally been stuck upstairs because the dizziness is so severe. They can't.
I was crying.
Either one can't get out of bed, or 2, the idea of going down the stairs is too scary. So they spent weeks upstairs with partners having to bring them. Yeah.
I had to have the ambulance get me down the stairs. The ambulance people at one point, I couldn't get down the stairs. I just ate.
Yeah, absolutely horrendous. And when you had those first 4 episodes, it's a little bit unusual to have 4 inner ear infections like labyrinthitis over and over. What was do you mind reminding me what the timing was? How far apart were they spaced?
About a week and a half. I had to have the ambulance come and get us each time because the spinning was horrific, and it was constant sickness. And I was that sick, all my electrolytes and everything went. I was having fits. And I couldn't move my bones because the electrolytes were so low. The sickness was just constant. I had to have a sick bowl next to us.
Wow.
They didn't even diagnose it at first. They couldn't tell us what was wrong with us. It was the worst time of my life. You know?
And you would have had MRIs and CT scans and all that kind of stuff.
I had 2 MRIs. I had CT scan. But they all come back clear. Had all the blood tests.
Yeah, so you were quite unlucky, because quite often what happens is people have one bout of vestibular neuritis. It's awful for maybe at least days, but typically 2 weeks. And then over about a 4 to 6 week period, a lot of people just gets better and they get on with their lives. But there's a significant proportion of people who will just develop this chronic dizziness and unsteadiness. And then there are a smaller percentage of people who will have repeat episodes. And that's quite unusual, but it can happen. But to have 4 in a row is pretty awful.
Yeah, my doctor kept saying, no, you'll get better, you'll get better. And I wasn't. I was keep going back in the hospital and back in the hospital. I think my husband was sick of sitting in the hospital with us, to be fair. I just never thought I was going to get right.
Yeah. I think what I've loved seeing with your recovery, though, is that it was a fairly steady improvement. So like you said, from week 2, just putting the right exercise in place. We had those weekly video calls just to make sure that you knew exactly what you're doing, why you're doing it, and just tailoring it to you to make sure that not too hard or easy. But I really love seeing how that process works so well when you just put the puzzle back together.
Yeah, the tandem stance was quite hard. It was quite hard at first, standing on one leg, because my balance was, and now I can do it. I don't even think my husband can stand on one leg, but I can with my eyes shut. No, I'm so grateful. Just, yeah.
Well, no, you've been an absolute star. Colleen, thanks so much for sharing your story with us. I really appreciate it.
No, that's great. Thank you. Thank you. If I hadn't found you, I'd probably still be lying on the settee and not, I wouldn't be getting up doing anything. That's
Oh,
great.
well,
Thank you.
you're most welcome.
Yeah, thanks.